Peace and love, black families. The Prince of Pan-Africanism, Dr. Umar Johnson, coming to you live and direct from Guguletu, Western Cape, South Africa, Cape Town. Shout out to all the students from the University of the Western Cape who came out last night to the Dr. Umar Johnson Power Lecture. I loved it. I enjoyed it. Always a memorable moment when I come to the University of the Western Cape. I remember last year when I came to UWC, I had an opportunity to engage and fellowship with the student protesters. So shout out to all the students in the Fees Must Fall movement. I'm glad you're standing strong with that whole situation. Very, very proud of you guys. I just want to take a minute before we head on down to Kimberley, South Africa for tonight's power lecture. Shout out to Kimberley, South Africa. I will see you guys tonight. But I want to talk about this whole birth of a nation, Nat Turner, Nate Parker controversy. Okay, just a couple of brief facts. Back in 1999, okay, on August the 21st, ironically, that's the day that the Nat Turner revolt started in 1831. But on August the 21st of 1999, a white female student at Penn State University in Pennsylvania, one of the most racist universities in America, and definitely one of the most racist universities in the United States. But a white female student at Penn State University accused two wrestling students, one being Nate Parker and a friend of his, of sexually assaulting her. Okay, now to clarify, whether the victim is white, purple, orange, brown, or black, I do not condone or support sexual abuse against women, period. Irrespective of race, it's no more acceptable. If the woman is white or black, it's wrong. As African people, we don't condone that. But when you look at the facts of the case, and there's only four entities who knows what happened that day at Penn State University. Nate Parker, his friend, who was actually convicted and sentenced. Nate Parker was acquitted of the rape. His friend was found guilty of the rape and sentenced to 2 years, if the statistics or the facts of the case that I've read are correct. So Nate Parker was acquitted. Okay, it was determined that his sexual involvement with the young lady was voluntary. Okay, but with his friend, it was determined that it was not voluntary. Now, one thing that is interesting about this is allegedly this same friend who was found guilty of raping the white female student collaborated to some extent, allegedly, with Nate Parker in the producing of Birth of a Nation. So nonetheless, Nate Parker was acquitted. He transferred to the University of Oklahoma or either Oklahoma State. He finished his education. He went on to go acting. Now, we know that Nate Parker, okay, was never, or should I say rarely, okay, exposed, harassed, or challenged about this case that took place almost 20 years ago. This case took place almost 20 years ago, and it smacks of a Bill Cosby. It smacks of a Bill Cosby. So the case took place nearly 20 years ago. He was in Pride. He was in Great Debaters, a very successful box office hit. He was in a lot of movies and nobody said nothing. All of a sudden, he decides on his own to produce and direct Birth of a Nation, the first, okay, cinematic reproduction and docudrama on the life of Nat Turner, the greatest black revolutionary in American history. So he decides to create the Nat Turner docudrama all of a sudden after 16 years, okay? All these feminist groups, white and black, are coming out calling him a rapist. Now, the last time I checked, white people believe that if you are found innocent in court, then you are innocent. Let me give you an example. When Trayvon Martin was assassinated by George Zimmerman, and Zimmerman was later acquitted, and black people said, this man murdered this child in cold blood. How could he be acquitted? White people told us that we should stop complaining and shut up because the justice system had cleared George Zimmerman of intentional manslaughter. So if black people are supposed to accept the outcome of criminal proceedings in the Trayvon Martin case, if black people are supposed to accept the outcome of the criminal proceedings in the Michael Brown grand jury investigation that found the officer that murdered Michael Brown to be innocent, if we're supposed to accept the criminal proceedings and outcome of the case from the Rodney King beating on film 1992, and if we're supposed to accept the Eric Garner choking death that was also videotaped, if we're supposed to accept the verdict of the court that found these officers not to be guilty, and if black people are supposed to shut up and go home because the court said the man is innocent, why can't white people shut up and go home when the court found Nate Parker innocent? Do y'all see the double standard? Do you see the double standard? When white people are acquitted of crimes, black people are supposed to accept it. But when black people are acquitted of crimes, white people don't have to accept it. But I want to bring your attention to something that is very, very interesting about this whole Penn State University Nate Parker situation. So the whole 2016, we've been dealing with an attempt to shut down the story of Nat Turner because white people don't want to accept the fact that the producer and the director was found not guilty. But guess what else has been going on in 2016? A convicted white serial child pedophile. Let me say it again. A convicted white serial child pedophile by the name of Jerry Sandusky, who is in the Hall of Fame, who is the assistant head coach of the Penn State Division I football team under Joe Paterno, was convicted in court of 50 counts of child abuse, rape, endangering a minor, and criminal intent to endanger a minor, a serial convicted repeat child molester. Now, he was convicted years ago, right? But guess what? This year, 2016, Jerry Sandusky's lawyers are petitioning the court to give him a new case. They want Jerry Sandusky's old conviction to be overturned. Him and his wife and his family are now claiming that Jerry Sandusky was manipulated by his attorneys into pleading guilty, or if he didn't plead guilty, he was manipulated into not defending his innocence as well as it should have been defended. So they want the court to overturn the Sandusky verdict. He's now claiming to be innocent. He went to court this year. This is only a couple months ago. Jerry Sandusky took the stand a couple months ago in Pennsylvania court and pled innocent, although you have over 30 mostly black boys. Let me say it again. 30 mostly black boys who he molested through his Second Mile charity program. This trifling child sex predator started a not-for-profit program to benefit youth called Second Mile in Pennsylvania, where he molested over 30 black boys, sodomized them in the shower and everything. On top of that, there's over 30 other men, white and black, in Boston who also claim that Jerry Sandusky, raped and molested them. But he got on the stand and said he was innocent of these charges. How in the hell you get almost 100 people of different races, children, talking about you molested them and you innocent, even when Joe Paterno himself, who's now deceased, went to the authorities at Penn State and said that you were involved in suspicious activity. Your own son, Jerry Sandusky's own son, even said that he molested him. So your son lied on you, 30 black boys lied on you, a whole bunch of white men lied on you, and you take the stand and claim to be innocent? and your wife says that your criminal trial was like a Blair Witch Hunt case where justice wasn't upheld, where you were convicted before you were innocent, what white man, convicted before you were proven to be guilty, what white man you know being charged with a crime by black people is convicted before proven to be guilty? Okay? You a rich and powerful white man, a celebrity football coach at Penn State, one of the most celebrated programs in all of America, and you're going to tell me that the white racist Pennsylvania courts, I live in Pennsylvania, you're going to tell me the white racist Pennsylvania courts up in State College, PA? Do you know how racist State College, PA is? And you want us to believe that these courts took the side of a bunch of poor white boys, poor black boys, but let me get to my point. How is it that all these feminist groups and women's rights groups can protest Nate Parker's release of the Nat Turner movie, Birth of a Nation, but none of you have protested the fact that Jerry Sandusky, a convicted serial child molester and rapist, is trying to get a new trial in court? So you're going to fight against a man who was acquitted, found to be innocent, but a white man from the same college, Penn State. Nate Parker was a wrestler, Jerry Sandusky was a football coach, and I think he went there himself. But you haven't said anything. You haven't protested. You haven't petitioned. You haven't marched. You haven't rallied. You have done nothing about the fact that Jerry Sandusky, this convicted serial child molester, is about to get his old conviction overturned for a new one. Okay? See the double standard here? Y'all not for justice. This ain't about justice. This ain't about sexual abuse. He raped over 30 boys. If this was about sexual abuse, if you're going to fight for the one white woman, okay, the one white woman, okay, whose allegation was disproven in court. I don't know whether he did it or not, but the point is y'all tell black people to accept the verdict of the court. So you're going to continue to say Nate Parker is a rapist to defend the honor of a white girl, but you won't continue to say that Jerry Sandusky is a convicted child sex offender, and you won't do anything to overturn his sentence. So brothers and sisters, I'm going to wrap this up because we got to get ready to go, but I just need to talk about that. This is not about rape, because if it was about rape, y'all would be protesting Sandusky, but you ignoring Sandusky, but you want to focus on Nate Parker, okay? This is about killing the memory of Nat Turner. This is about killing unapologetic black alpha manhood. That's what this is about. Y'all don't want to see black men rise. You don't want to see black women rise. You don't want to see black people rise. You don't want to see black youth rise. That's what this is really about. You want to suffocate the memory of any attempt to resurrect strong, unapologetic alpha black manhood. Tell the truth. That's what this is about. You're upset that he had the audacity to produce a Nat Turner movie when he couldn't get any money from any of the leading studios, had to put his own money up, had to borrow and beg people to finance what was going on. That's what you mad about. Well, guess what? Y'all can get mad because that that Marcus Garvey movie is coming. That Mau Mau movie is coming. That Haitian Revolution movie is coming. That George Jackson movie is coming. Oh, yes, the truth will be told. And all you black feminists running around downing Nate Parker but saying nothing about Jerry Sandusky, you need to be ashamed of yourself. You need to be ashamed of yourself. Feminism is the new racism. Whenever they want to destroy a strong black man, they go get some white feminists and some black feminists that try to make him look like he's a perpetrator of oppression when he's a victim of oppression. Our problem ain't sexual abuse by black men against black women. Yes, we have rape and molestation, and we need to address that. And I'm not condoning it. I'm not condoning rape and abuse by black men or any man. I want my sisters to understand, because as a therapist, I encounter a lot of women who have been raped and abused. So I'm not condoning that. I will stand with you against it. I will come to a rally in support of rape and abuse against women. So that ain't the issue. The issue is when you let white racists use you against black men. Feminism ain't the issue. Multiculturalism ain't the issue. LBGTism ain't the issue. The issue is white supremacy. The issue is white supremacy. You don't let nobody come and use you against black men. And y'all running around Nate Parker this, Nate Parker that. The man was acquitted. Did you do that with the cop who choked Eric Garner? Did you do that with the man who killed Trayvon? Did y'all protest them after they was acquitted? Sit your ass down. Black Power, race first renegades, Marcus Garvey forever, Pan-Africanism will perish. I'm out.